Hello everyone, my name is Alexana Light, although I normally go by Alex. I am majoring in middle grades education, and my two concentration areas for my major are English language arts and science. For the first question in regards to grades and the grading process in my future classroom, I have two main ways that I intend to keep students informed of their grades in my class. So the first way that I would like to keep students informed of their grades is through an online gradebook system, such as PowerSchool or Blackboard or whichever other system may be utilized by a school that I end up working at upon my graduation from UNCW. The really great thing about these online gradebook systems is that as long as the teacher keeps the grades up to date frequently and is consistently putting in grades as they are done grading assignments, the student will have a very good idea of where they stand in a class as far as their grade at any given moment, because these systems show both their weighted and unweighted grades in the class. The other way that I want to keep my students informed of their grades is a little more visual than these online gradebook systems and interactive as well. I plan to have students in my classroom utilize a bar graph chart so that they can see their progress in my class throughout the semester or year, however long the academic term for my class is. As I hand out assignments with both the grade and written feedback that I feel is very necessary to students in understanding how they have progressed throughout the term, I want students in my class to fill out the bar graph. So for each assignment they get back, will be a bar on their chart so that they can see how their grades go up and go down throughout the semester and how they're doing in a very visual sense. It's also that bar graph method is also another way that I can track student achievement. So students, as long as they keep up with it, they will see their own achievement levels, and it's a little more visual for them to see that a 70 is just barely passing in some schools versus just seeing the number grade, because they can actually see it in front of them, and it's a great way to measure their achievement and keep track of their achievement. But it's also a way, if I were to check on those bar graphs and see if they're keeping up to date with them, to see how they're doing, or even if I were to keep track of their assignments on bar graphs of my own, I could see how their achievement levels have progressed throughout the term in my class. In terms of grading, I want to have a balance between knowledge and effort for how I grade the assignments, because I feel if you focus too heavily on one and not the other, or you just focus solely on one of those two aspects, then grading becomes a little biased and isn't set up for every student to be capable to succeed. Because if you focus it solely on knowledge, then if a student is not grasping a concept as quickly as some of their other classmates, they may not have the same chance to be successful as those classmates who immediately understand the content. Versus if you focus it solely on effort, then students will throw together something and they may put a lot of work into an assignment, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they know what they're talking about. Going back to the knowledge, they could know what they're talking about, but not put a lot of effort into it, versus a student that does put a lot of effort in and maybe doesn't know it. So it's finding that really nice balance between the two, where students can still receive points if they put a lot of effort in, but maybe aren't grasping the concept as quickly, or if they do understand the concept, but do not put as much effort in as some other students. I want to find that nice balance between the two. so that it sets the students up to be successful in whatever way possible. And in terms of allowing student behavior to impact how I grade students, I want to avoid that as much as possible in my future classroom, because I feel that good behavior and bad behavior having an impact on grades leads to bias, because teachers all perceive students in different ways based on how they behave in the classroom. So typically the ones that act out a lot, teachers can become biased against them if they don't want to cooperate, or they don't turn in assignments, or they're rude or talk out in class a lot without raising their hand. And then allowing that to influence a student's grade, even if they're the smartest student in the class, is limiting their ability to succeed within a classroom setting. So I want to avoid letting their behavior impact the grades, because it's not an accurate way of assessing student learning and giving each student an equal shot to learn and to be successful within a classroom. The only instance in which I could see myself allowing student behavior to impact how I grade them within my classroom is in a group discussion setting. For English, that would be if a student is not participating in the discussion, or they are blatantly being disrespectful to other students when they are contributing comments to the discussion. For example, if one student said another student's idea was dumb, those are things that I could see myself potentially taking points off of them, but I want to limit the amount of points that are taken off of it and focus more on the quality of the comments that are contributed to the discussion when a student speaks. So for the second question, I chose to talk about the Miracle Workers video and my initial thoughts when I watched that video. I really loved watching the Miracle Workers video because I felt that it was a very accurate representation and portrayal of what teaching is like. I also felt that it was very powerful to sit and watch that video. It did a really good job illustrating just how important the tiniest of things are within a classroom and how much of an impact it can have on a student. Even something as small as just giving them a pen before they even know that they need a pen in the class can make a really big difference in the lives of a student. Because it's knowing and providing them with the materials that they need in order to be successful, but also the information that they need so that they can learn and grow as individuals. And it's not a process where it just magically occurs overnight. It does take a lot of work and a lot of time and effort. So in that sense, the video does a very good job of illustrating just how humbling the work process of being a teacher is. Because even if to students it doesn't seem like we're putting in a whole lot of work by just like, oh, we gave them a pen, it's a lot more calculated and thought through than they realize. So while it may seem like teachers are miracle workers, it really is just a lot of work. Like he does say in the video, that we're not miracle workers. Education itself is the miracle, and we're just workers. I really did enjoy that video, and I agree with his statements about teachers being workers and it being very important to know what the student needs before they even know that they need it, because that is very necessary in helping students to be successful in a classroom and just in life in general. If they are set up for success in the classroom, then they have the capability to become successful outside of the classroom. both while they're still in school and even after they've long since completed school. Since I believe that education is the foundation for success throughout a lifetime, really. So, all right, that's all I have to say for today. So thank you very much for listening. And I look forward to talking to you guys in the discussion board. Thank you. Bye.